Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Let's move to our 500 millibar chart and big trough. There is a big trough with a jet on the eastern side. This has largely done its deal for us in terms of effects. As we move through this afternoon into the evening, not much is going to change. It's just going to kind of meander and move ever so slowly off to the east. And as we head into tomorrow morning, there's still not too much of a difference, but you start to get to see a little peek at what's coming up next. There is a little shortwave right along here where my mouse is, and as we move through tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening, that becomes the main trough. Woohoo! And while the jet is largely not affecting us, even as we head into Monday, the thing is we are pretty much right at the base of this trough, so we are going to be having some positive vorticity advection. So perhaps we get a little bit of rising motion out of this. So maybe a little bit of large-scale ascent for precipitation. But I think the main thing is going to be these strong westerly winds moving over the lakes. That is really going to enhance the lake effect and bring more of it, bring it farther inland. So guess what? More lake effects now. It's going to keep happening. Isn't that lovely? At least it looks like it. Let's go down further to the 850 millibar level. You can really see that current low pressure system that is now getting its head out of our business. And then you can really see that next low pressure system start to make its way. And yeah, it's really going to, again, we're really going to feel its effects tomorrow afternoon into the evening time. And then by Monday, as we head into Monday morning, that thing is pretty much right overhead. Now, as we head down to the surface, we will again look at the pressure, but we'll also keep in mind the temperature. So it's a wee bit chilly now. And as we move through the day, it's actually going to get a little bit colder. And into the overnight, you can see that next low pressure system starting to make its way. And it will briefly warm to cold instead of stupid cold. It'll briefly warm to what we have about now. And then, if you'll notice, some even colder air starts to approach Monday morning behind this low pressure system. Everything in the gray here is 0 degrees or lower. And really, the only thing holding it back from us at this time frame are the Great Lakes. And they can only hold back so much. And as we go further out, some of these absolutely frigid temperatures are expected to reach into our state, into our area. So let's zoom in, talk about those temperatures, talk about the highs and lows. Right now, the temperature should be just above 20 degrees, and it will slowly drop through the day. And as we head into the overnight, by the time we, excuse me, by the time we get to around midnight, the temperature will likely be in the upper teens, or at least, actually, excuse me, lower teens. Maybe around 15, 14, I guess lower to mid-teens. Not a pleasant number. Then, as we head into the morning, it will warm up slightly. We may get above 20 briefly, maybe. But then those sub-20 temperatures will make their way back into the area tomorrow afternoon into the evening time. And then the next cold front will come through overnight and into Monday morning. And things are really going to get chilly. At this point, this is 7 a.m. Monday, and we're already seeing those low to mid-teens creep back into the area. And it's expected to get colder. The other thing is it is expected to be fairly windy. At this point, just looking at the wind barbs, it looks like we have 15 to 20 knots of wind at the surface in our area, which is about 20 miles per hour. Not a ton, but it'll certainly contribute to wind chills. And if we take a look, let me just refresh this, see if this is updated at all. No, no update yet. This is still the same graphic from yesterday. That was posted just around, yeah, this same time yesterday. And these are the expected minimum wind chills Monday into Tuesday. So here on in the Lansing area, we're just on the fringe between the blue and the purple. The blue is -15 to -25, and the purple is -25 to -35. So the wind chill is going to get real cold. So again, do be prepared for that. As they say, 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Cold wind chills, very cold wind chills. If you have to travel Monday into Tuesday, you have to go outside for any reason, make sure you bundle up, have an emergency plan if something happens to your vehicle, and stay warm. Don't, like, that's cold. That's really cold. So, just a heads up, if you're like me and you hate the cold, this sucks. But it's not going to last forever. It's going to be a really cold day or two, and then it'll just be normal cold, hopefully. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on from that. I don't like looking at that. Except we can't move on entirely because we still have to look at the wind because that is related. So here are the hourly maximum winds averaged across the models. And around now, looking at 15, maybe 20 miles per hour. And that looks to remain the case through most of the day today, although overnight and into tomorrow morning, the winds do die down quite a bit. Probably looking at only around 10 miles per hour. And then they start to build, they kind of hang around there all throughout tomorrow and into tomorrow evening as well. And overnight, for the most part, but right in the last few hours as we head into Monday morning, some of those winds do start to build back into the area. Again, 15, 20 or so miles per hour. But those are the sustained winds. Let's take a look at the wind gusts. So right now, wind gusts are probably around the 20 to 25 mile per hour range. And should actually get a little bit stronger as we head into the evening, maybe around the 30 mile per hour range. Kind of meander there for a few hours and die down a bit as we head into tomorrow morning. Around tomorrow morning, we should still be looking at only around 20 mile per hour wind gusts, and that will actually calm quite a bit as we head into tomorrow afternoon, maybe even 15, down to 15 mile per hour wind gusts. But of course, as we head into the evening, overnight, and into Monday morning, those wind gusts will definitely start to build back into the area. By 7 a.m. Monday, it looks like we have those 30s creeping back in, and it is certainly possible that as the day goes on, we may get up to 35, 40, just as the National Weather Service did mention in that graphic there. Now let's take a look at that precipitation. I mentioned lake effect. What is it going to look like? Well, we do still see some small, short lake effect bands immediately along the coast, and that pretty quickly jumps up as we head into this evening. Dies down a bit overnight, again, because probably with the wind decreasing a bit as well. But as that wind starts to increase, and as you can see that next system start to make its way right there across Wisconsin and Illinois, and as we head into tomorrow night and into Monday morning, that lake effect really takes off. Maybe we have a little bit of large scale precipitation that isn't just lake effect in there as well, and some of that is getting blown pretty far inland. So we're more than likely going to see some precipitation from that next system as we head into tomorrow night and into Monday morning. And it looks like that may continue for some time. And that is some pretty significant lake effect. So, with that said, let's take a look at our snow forecast as well. Here, our official forecast calls for 1 to 3 more inches of snow for our area during, the next system that will be coming through. Excuse me, my cat is screaming below me. But, of course, again, off to our west along the lakeshore, a lot more snow still expected to fall. 6 to 9 inches in Grand Rapids, 8 to 11 in Muskegon. So, if you're planning to travel, do keep that in mind. If you're going west or if you have family over there, let them know. If this extends northward too, all that lake effect is still building up, building up, building up. And again, it's reaching pretty far inland, and you can even see there's still some bands off to our east where there's a little bit more snow. So, there's a chance that maybe this ends up over us, maybe it ends up north of us, that's going to be a little variable. There's also little pockets of less snow. So that's probably why there's the whole 1 to 3 range. Could end up on the low end, could end up on the high end. Speaking of, low end amount, 9 in 10 or 90% chance that we get this amount of snow or more is half an inch of snow. So we should, even if things don't necessarily go right, expect about half an inch of snow. The high end amount, 1 in 10, 10% chance that we get this amount or more, is 3 inches, although we are getting awfully close to that 4 to 6 line. So probably on the higher end. So our high end amount is probably on the higher end of 3. So I think the 1 to 3 forecast seems perfectly reasonable. You can see some double-digit numbers out to the west, though. 10 Grand Rapids, 13 Muskegon. So, worst case scenario, we may be looking at 3, maybe 4 inches of snow. And places out west could be looking at a lot more. Last but not least, let's take a look at our cloud cover. It looks like we do have some pretty thick clouds over the area now. Although given how it looks just to our south and east, maybe we did have a tad bit of clearing earlier. I'm not sure. I wasn't really looking outside. But the clouds are going to be here to stay. Here to stay. Here to stay. Here to stay. Going to be cloudy. This whole period going to be cloudy. I think the best chance we have for clearing is around midnight tonight. And even then, we're still looking at like 80% cloud cover. So, cloudy. Gonna be cloudy the whole time. I guess that's it. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow.